It is Friday here on the Outpost Unknown YouTube channel. Once again, you are exhuming the X-Files with myself, Matthew, and Jeremy.
That's me.
So thank you, folks. We are on the home stretch, Jeremy, of our 8-episode Death March. Watching 8 episodes back to back, and then recording 8 podcast episodes back to back. How are you holding up? Are we hating on each other yet? Do you feel the bonds of friendship starting to fray?
No, man, I love you. I feel you love me. I think we're trucking right on through this adventure together.
Yes. And speaking of adventure, we are talking this week Tunguska, part 1 of a 2-parter directed by Kim Manners, written by Chris Carter and Frank Spotnitz. We are returning to the black goo, the black oil that becomes a huge thing later on. Now, do you have memories of this episode as a kid?
Yes, and I know where this is going later on as well that extend beyond this episode because, well, things we'll find out in the episode and probably talk about later.
Yeah. So hit that like and subscribe if you want to hear about those things 2-3 years down the road. Let's talk about Tunguska. I also remember this vividly as a kid, especially the final shot of this episode. That is like seared into my brain, but we'll get there. Take us through Tunguska.
Scully is sworn into a congressional hearing and starts to read her statement in front of senators, and as she's doing it, she starts giving a statement about men in control of the government, the shadow government, quote unquote, that she never quite says. But while she's trying to give her opening statement, they just interrupt her and just ask, this is not what that's about. You're not standing on a soapbox. We just want to know, where is Fox Mulder?
Yeah.
And she won't say. And she's like, well, you're gonna hold yourself in contempt in front of Congress. And she's like, well, no, if I reveal where he is, it will likely endanger his life. So, and then she tries to continue finishing her opening statement, that she starts saying something about hinting at maybe she'll retire from the FBI. And they ask her, it's like, are you planning on resigning? And she says no. And so they threaten her with contempt again. And then we get the title screen.
Yeah. Your thoughts?
I mean, going before Congress and showing up on C-SPAN, like this is big going to jail stuff.
Yes. It is going to jail stuff. I do remember this opening from when I was a kid, and I remember being struck by 2 things. One was the guy is basically like, you're going to go to jail, because back then, see kids, back in the day, we didn't have a government that just ignored all rules and, did not, hey, we're going to abolish contempt, and all that stuff. It was a big fucking deal if you lied to Congress or you refused to answer to that kind of thing. And so even back then in the 90s, it was like, oh shit, like Scully's going to go to jail. There's no way to get out of that. In my mind, in my like 16-year-old brain or whatever it was, I was like, there's no way to get out of this. How would you possibly write this out? Because we know she's not going to give up Mulder. So how is she going to get out of this? The other thing that struck me is like, everyone's like, where is Fox Mulder? And that's what I was asking. Where the fuck is Mulder? Why is everybody looking for Mulder? What kind of shit has he gotten himself into? That's my takeaway from this opening prologue.
Pretty much. Yep. Exactly what happened. I mean, it was high stakes, and they've never been as in trouble and they've been in trouble before. But as far as like the X-Files might be disbanded, everybody's going to jail, Mulder might be dead. Like, this is as close as they've been and as visible as they've been to the world since all of this shit began. So
Yeah.
the threat was there. It was a good pre-title screen, especially for a to be continued episode.
Yeah.
Though they didn't have a different saying than "the truth is out there," which they normally do for episodes like
one
this.
one of these episodes had a different one. I don't know which one it
What?
was. Yeah, one of them did.
Don't lie to me. I was looking.
No, no, no.
Oh.
I'll have to find. I don't know if it was this one. I
Guess
can
that
look
maybe
into
in
it.
480p it might look a little different.
I'm surprised you can even see the truth is out
Oh,
there in 480p.
no.
God.
Up your nose with a rubber hose, Matthew. All right. So after the title screen, we started a ticketing line, and this is the only part that bugs me.
Mm,
I like I came back through TSA in the early 2000s, and this was post 9/11. But I had my paintball guns with me. I used to paintball a lot. I love paintballing stateside. I love paintballing over in Europe. They pulled me out of the plane after I had boarded Lufthansa to go out or back out and into the little tramway thing.
yeah.
And they had my undercarriage bag there, and they're like, "You're gonna have to open that and explain what that is." And I opened it up, and it's my paintball gun. And it's got two CO2 canisters on it,
Oh, yeah.
and they're like, "What are those?" And I was like, "It's just CO, or it's propellant. They're empty. They do not explode." But even if they're empty, like they'll build up pressure after a while. I
Yeah.
scared the shit out of those people because I grabbed the valve and I opened it, and there was just a little, the tiniest of little hisses, and two of them kind of flinched back away from me. But there's like, no, no, it's fine, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it, and they let me go. They let me go on to America and whatnot. But that is all to say that nobody really anywhere is fucking around with biological stuff, with explosive stuff. If they suspect you of something, they're not ass clowning the way the TSA agent was ass clowning in the opening or the start of this episode. Because there's a dude in Japan, and he's got this briefcase that he will not open for the TSA in Japan. And for some reason the TSA in Japan speaks great English. They don't even look Japanese.
It's a
So
diplomatic pouch, Jeremy.
no, it was a briefcase. The diplomatic pouch was some other dude.
Was it? Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm getting
These
this
two
mixed up.
people in the no, these two people in the beginning, we never see them again.
Oh, gosh, I'm
And it
getting this all mixed up
fucking
then.
no,
Okay.
no, no, you're right about the diplomatic pouch, but it's some other guy coming from Russia and not from Japan. I
Oh,
have
okay.
no idea what happens to these two people because he won't open his briefcase. He doesn't even have the code for it. So TSA orders a full body cavity search
Yeah.
for him. They're gonna finger fuck him,
That was funny.
and that's another thing too. If this guy is working for this shadow government, like surely he has the sort of credentials that's like, don't put your hands on this guy, not finger bang the fuck out of him because he's being cagey about his briefcase.
Well,
But they do it
he's
anyway.
telling the guy, he's like, "I have diplomatic papers. You cannot do this to me." And the TSA guy is like, "I'm gonna stick my finger up your asshole and dig around." He didn't
And
care.
then the TSA opens up his briefcase. They see two tubes, and as soon as he picks up the tube, like it's just the TSA guy in an isolated room with this dude, right?
Yeah.
And he picks it up and he starts opening it, and the guys just starts freaking. It's like that is a biological contaminant. Like you can't open, sir. Stop fucking. And he's just like pulling the glass tube out of the center of it, just drops it on the fucking ground. And then black oil starts
Yeah.
leaking out of the dirt that was inside of this tube and going inside of the TSA agent the whole while this dude that was carrying the briefcase like, let me out of here, just beating on the door like, let me the fuck out of here. He's freaking the fuck out. And this, it almost comes across as like this is what the pre-title screen would have normally been for a normal episode.
Mm. Yeah, that's a good thought.
But it bugs me because we never see those people or what happened to them ever again.
Hmm. Yeah, I think you're right. Because I'm just focused on the Russian dudes and whatever. So yeah, that's
So
interesting.
it cuts to the FBI plus SWAT. They're staking out a bomb maker due to the FBI intercepting a bunch of receipts for materials that basically built the bombs in the Oklahoma City bombing. Certain combinations of and volumes of fertilizer plus fuel. Um, they for some reason, Mulder and Scully are with them, and they're in like full battle rattle, and Mulder looks like a
Shotguns in tow.
yeah, and Mulder looks so stupid in a fucking Kevlar helmet. He's got a big head, and that thing just makes it look ginormous.
Yeah.
But so they're waiting for a truck to pull up that's going to carry these bombs apparently before the whatever military force that they're with attacks these bomb makers. And what's wild is shooting just starts happening as soon as the cops expose themselves, or the ATF or whatever they are. And there again, like in so many of these episodes we've watched just today, never mind other ones, they're immediately completely outclassed by the guns the bad guys are carrying. Because they're just carrying like little 9mm submachine guns, little MP5s. And the bomb makers have got, M16s, AR-15s, M14s. They're like just carrying assault rifles. And this gunfight starts, and the good guys are just losing like right away. They're having to hit the dirt. People are getting shot, and then the bomb truck like drives away, and Mulder and Scully, for some reason, they chase this truck on foot while they're shooting at it, and just leaving all of these other people to die in this gunfight by themselves.
So much gunfire this season.
Sure.
It feels like every episode there's some sort of gun shootout or somebody shooting somebody. It's wild.
I have noticed that they use the same guns in every gunfight, though.
Oh.
Like the guns that were used in here, the assault rifles and everything that they were pointing out the windows of the cult church thing, same guns that or same
Oh.
exact guns that the bad guys were firing from.
You can tell on 480p?
Listen, I can see an M14 and an M16 a mile off, like with my eyes shut, bruh. Yeah, I
I
can see it
figure
in 480p.
I figured they just all look like sticks or something to you from what you're seeing on your tiny, tiny 480p
Shut your poor
resolution.
mouth, Mister 60 inches.
Full
All right.
mast over here. Who's in the truck? Who's in the truck, Jeremy?
They shoot the truck crashes after they take a couple of shots at it. They realize that whoever was in the driver's seat got shot in the head and he's all bloody. So Mulder goes around to the driver's side. Driver throws his gun out. It's a silenced pistol. And maybe you get the impression that whoever was in the driver's seat the passenger seat shot the driver in the head.
Yeah.
Because that's the way it kind of looks with the silenced pistol.
Yeah, maybe.
Door opens, it's fucking Krycek.
Weasel Krycek. God damn.
And Mulder's just immediately pissed off about it.
He
Like, how
watched
did
me
you?
shoot him with a shotgun. He's got the shotgun like in his face, and Scully's like, Mulder, hold up. Don't blow this guy's up. Because the last time we saw him, he was trapped in a bunker in North Dakota, like a
Was
season
that
ago.
was that the bees bunker?
No, remember he gets all the
No, the
black oil in his
alien, the
eyeball.
black oil. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. Okay. And so, yeah, he's like, they found me in that bunker in North Dakota, South Dakota, wherever he was. And it's like, if you go underground, like, why are you hanging out with these bomb makers? Like, if you go underground, you have to learn to live with rats.
I love Mulder's quote here. I wrote this down because this quote is so stupid. Like, nobody would say something like this. Yet the writers made David Duchovny say this. He said, he's insulting Krycek here at this point. He says, "You're an invertebrate scum sucker whose moral dipstick is about 2 drops short of bone dry."
I
What?
remember the
Nobody in the world would ever say something that stupid.
true, but I do remember that Mulder delivered it clearly and without stuttering.
That's true. That's true.
So, as odd as it was, he did nail that stupid ass line. I guess Krycek tells him, like, I'm the guy that's been feeding you information. Why do you think you have receipts? Like, I'm trying to take the cigarette smoking down by destroying the destroyer's ability to destroy. He actually
Yeah.
says that.
Who wrote this? Chris Carter wrote this episode,
Did
right?
he?
I
Did
think
he?
so. Let me look. Let me look. Yeah, yeah, Chris
Stinks.
Carter.
Stinks like Chris Carter, sure. Um, and then he tells him that this is only one bomb. How many more are there? And so Krycek says, I'll cough up the rest of the bombs, and you just got to take me with you. So they take him to an airport, and he says that there's a dude here that has a diplomatic pouch. They say the fucking word pouch
I
like
know.
50 more times in this episode. And it's great because the cigarette, I wrote it when the cigarette smoking man starts saying it. He said, hey, he has to say pouch and about in the same sentence. And I'm pretty sure his Canadian, I think he's Canadian because he says it so many times he starts saying pooch and a boot.
I'm gonna look up William B. Davis and see where he's from.
Good, good. I'm Quebec, my guess.
Okay, I'll let you know. Continue on.
So he they take him to the airport and they still haven't learned their lesson with Krycek. They leave him handcuffed to something, and I swear they've done it like 2 times previously in this show, and he's gotten away from them both times. So they handcuff him to a rail, and they track down the dude with the diplomatic pouch. They tell him to stop. He turns around and flees, and as the diplomat is fleeing, they find that he tossed his bag or the pouch that he was carrying into
The
the
pouch.
dumpster, the pooch, the diplomatic pouch, into a dumpster, and they open it up and they just find coal inside. So Mulder has some sort of joke about them having found nothing for Charlie Brown's Christmas or some shit like that.
Yeah. Now I will say during this chase sequence, when the dude is running like through the airport or whatever, he's just intentionally running into other pedestrians in that airport. Like there's a couple people just standing next to him, like kind of just walking, and you could see him just move over and like shoulder slam those poor people to make them go flying, because they didn't have enough extras to really make it look realistic, so they just had the actor like just run into those people and make it look dynamic.
not even not even some stunt people. It's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
just
they want SAG cards. They're not going to complain.
100%, 100%. Oh sweet, my next note is shirtless Skinner, so let's get into that.
Oh yeah. So cut to knocking on sexy topless Skinner's apartment door. Asks him to watch Krycek for a while, and as soon as Skinner gets a hold of him, he just blasts Krycek in the gut, just folds him over with that sexy muscled body of his.
Krycek gets his ass beat by everybody in this episode. Like everyone's taking like the opportunity to punch Krycek. Mulder does it multiple times. Skinner does it. It's just like, yeah, he's just got the most punchable face of anybody on this show. He deserves it.
Eventually, he does finally tell Mulder's like, "Don't touch me again."
Oh yeah, he's like, I'm in the gulag with you. Don't touch me. You need me, buddy.
It, but he's so punchable,
He is.
and so Skinner's just hasn't a problem with it. He's like, yeah, I'll fucking watch him. We'll do whatever you need to do because I fucking hate this guy too. Handcuffs him to his balcony outside, and Krycek just starts complaining about, oh, but you can't leave me out here. It's cold, and he's just think warm thoughts. Like, man, Skinner just doesn't give a shit.
He does later in the episode.
Yeah, which I thought was, I don't know. Just
I
he
mean,
was playing tough for that one scene, and then every other scene after that involves it, he's just like, "You guys are gonna get me in trouble."
I'm gonna get fired.
Where's shirtless Skinner again? Just take your shirt off, bro.
Yeah, man up.
so, so they
No, you know
discover
what? You
that.
know what they missed opportunity is the succubus quietly leaving the apartment
Like
during that sequence.
stepping around
Yeah,
Krycek.
like Mulder and Krycek don't realize, but shirtless because he comes out like zipping up his pants and everything like that. But they missed an opportunity to have like a succubus coming out of there.
Well, I mean, he's got the willpower to just keep screwing them devil women and not getting taken over. So good for him. mean, if they're crawling out of hell all the way up here for that potato-shaped dick, like, more power to 'em.
Oh, I had forgotten about the potato-shaped dick.
I'll never let you forget it again. So so they find out that this piece of coal might be a meteorite from Mars, which was a topical thing. I remember
Yeah.
back then they had discovered in Antarctica or locked in ice some hunks of rock that got blasted off of Mars somehow, and they're like, "We're gonna find some bacteria fossils or something on this bad boy, and we're gonna prove that Mars life existed." So, I guess they were angling for that in this one because they start tasking about, or the scientist that had identified where it came from wanted to ask them, "Can I take core samples so I can find alien bacteria for no
Yeah,
reason?"
he was real excited about it. He's like, "If you guys
Um,
will let me." And then Mulder's like, "We everybody wants to know what's inside that rock."
so he lets him have it, and then Skinner meets with cigarette smoking man about the diplomatic pooch.
Oh, by the way,
Um,
Toronto, Canada.
yes, yes.
You were right.
All right, and let me. Okay, yeah, I'm. So he says diplomatic pooch and a boot, like, and I wrote, yeah, CSM is finding it hard to hide his Canadian accent by saying pooch and boot so many times. Skinner's apartment starts getting tossed while somebody is looking for the pooch, and Krycek is out on the balcony. So he hides by throwing himself over the edge of the balcony and just hanging on by the handcuffs. And when the dude that's tossing the room, who's the diplomat who dropped the pooch at the pouch at the airport previously, Krycek kills him by grabbing him and pulling his ass over the edge of the balcony. Um, Following that, we have this weird scene where Scully is like questioning how far Mulder will go. And it's like, if you know, you keep pushing it and you keep going so far, how far do you think I'll follow you?
Yeah. To the end, Scully.
To the bitter end.
To the end.
The core sample scientist is in an appropriate set of gear in order to isolate him from all sorts of biological threats. And yet, as soon as he cuts into the hunk of coal, he gets blasted in the face with black oil, and the black oil just goes straight through the suit and into his skin and into his eye. And like he's looking at the black oil, and I know he can't see CGI effects as it's crawling around like a bunch of leeches on the outside. But if you saw a bunch of bugs like on the outside of your mask, wouldn't you just rip the mask off your face and flee the room screaming?
Well, I don't think with the CDC sort of quarantine stuff or wherever they're at, I don't think they'd let him get out of that room because as soon as you take off the mask, then you have contaminated yourself potentially, and they're not going to let you out.
Who's watching him? It was just the one dude.
I don't know.
The CD. I don't even think that was a CDC guy. That was just some scientist.
Hmm. Okay.
All right.
Maybe
So,
he just doesn't want to start like the first episode of The Stand, Jeremy. He's like, I'm resigned to my fate here. Otherwise, I doom the whole fucking world.
well,
That might be
the
what he's
stand
thinking.
wouldn't have happened if that guy hadn't left and left in his car and like drove to Texas and infected the whole world. So, okay, so maybe he read the stand and he didn't want to do it. I don't know. He just stood there screaming like an idiot.
Yeah, I would have moved my hands up and tried to like wipe it off my mask rather than just sitting there letting it kind of come through. But who am I?
Matt would grab a wad of toilet paper
Yeah.
and get after that black oil. In a swirling pattern?
Oh God.
So God damn it. Where am I even at in my notes
Mulder
anymore?
goes
He's
to visit our
laughing.
favorite Marita Kovar-Rubias. Remember, he
Well,
goes and he's basically like, "Hey, tell me about this like rock or something.
But he takes Krycek with him and leaves him locked up in the car. And
Yeah.
he ends up falling asleep in this girl's apartment while Krycek is locked up in the car.
And she's looking at him like longingly too. It's a weird
It's weird.
weird sequence. They're
Um,
trying to get that love connection between Mulder and this chick, and it's still not happening.
says the diplomatic pouch was ultimately started near Tunguska in Russia, and gets Mulder, but not Krycek, diplomatic credentials to go over to Russia so that he could go figure out what is going on at Tunguska. I remember never knowing what the Tunguska blast was when I was a kid and becoming fascinated with it when I was an adult. And then
Yeah.
this episode was like, all right, that was a really cool thing that happened at one time.
Well, tell the kids out there, what was it?
They tell you in the episode. Why don't you watch it, kids? So they go. Mulder goes to the airport and he's just gonna leave Krycek like locked in the car, and he says that I'll send or Scully here in a week to
Yeah.
give you some water. And
Oh god.
Krycek starts cussing at him in Russian, and so Mulder's I guess recognizes Russian cuss words and like, you speak Russian?
Mm.
Well, I guess you're going with me, even though you don't have the diplomatic credentials that this blonde
Yeah.
lady just hooked me up with.
Even though I hate you to my core and don't trust you at all, I'm going to take you to Russia with me.
Um, see, the cigarette smoking man visits the well dressed gentleman about the balcony diver, the guy that got thrown over the edge, and tells him that somebody went to Russia. It was likely Mulder, and he says, I could fix it, and the well dressed gentleman says this will need more than good aim to fix.
Mm. And why?
Um,
Why is that? That was my question.
it
Like,
doesn't.
is he saying like, well, you could just shoot Mulder and this would all be over? And then he's like, well, this will take more than just that. Like, why?
It would. It's just saying these things is plot armor for Mulder to continue living in this world.
Yeah.
Even though if he had never left the gulag he's about to get trapped in, everything would have gone better for what they were trying to accomplish in their world.
That's sad.
Is it? So congressional summons goes to Skinner, goes to Scully, and Skinner's just like, "Where's Mulder?" And Scully won't tell him. Mulder and Krycek are digging under some barbed wire near the Tunguska Event Center, and Mulder finally tells Krycek why they're there.
So go watch the episode, kids.
Yeah, and it has a good explanation as to what happens. So I'm not going to spoil it by stealing Mulder's thunder here. He tells the story in a sexier way than I ever could, and you just have to believe me.
Best acting he's done the entire series.
Sure, I don't know about that. So they spy. There's a bunch of poor mining civilians just digging up some mud, and they're getting beaten. They are obviously looking at an above ground gulag. Unfortunately, they're discovered by a bunch of Ruskies on horseback,
Mm.
and they run away. Krycek is almost immediately captured, but Mulder has this whole like hero running thing where he outruns horses until he gets hogtied and whipped with a bullwhip
Yeah.
until he submits.
Well, I think this whole like sequence is goofy from the beginning because they are like looking at these people who are like working in this area, whatever, and then as soon as the Russians on their horses like even appear, Mulder screams at the top of his lungs, "Run!" Which immediately alerts everyone to where they are. They just get taken down. We also forgot to mention there's a moment earlier on when Mulder throws Krycek up against like a wall or something. And he's like, "Your stupid ass haircut." He doesn't like Krychek's haircut either. I just wanted to make sure we got that in there.
Doesn't he say that in the no, not when they're in the cell. You're right though. Krychek's haircut wasn't that stupid.
Looked pretty stupid. Fucking
Wow,
weasel.
wow, man, can't forgive a guy
I wrote here, I love Mulder's hatred for Krycek. Punches
because
him in the face in the car too. I forgot he punches him in the car just for shits and giggles as well.
you too don't like Krychek for all the same reasons.
Oh, I hate Krycek. Hate him.
Forgive and forget, man.
No, never.
Okay, then no. Mulder comes back to, and he's passed out in a cell, bleeding from the whooping he took. He wakes up to somebody whispering Russian at him over and over and over again. Some guy in a wall cell next door to him tells him that he was brought there to die. The only thing that he'll find here is death and suffering because it is a gulag, the place where the guilty rule the innocent, which I thought was kind of a cool line.
Yeah.
Krychek gets dumped in the cell with him, and he's freaking out because he's going to be tortured. And in true Krychek fashion, he's kind of a pussy.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to get tortured. He threatens Mulder not to touch him again, as he'll need him.
Yeah.
Then we go back to the pre-title screen. Skinner and Scully have been invited to by the congressman to talk about perjury. Agent Scully will not tell him where Mulder is at. Cut back to Mulder and Krychek are getting fed water, and there's a big old cockroach in the water he's drinking.
War of the coprophages.
They immediately get attacked by the guards, and Krychek demands to see this guard's supervisor in Russian, and he just acquiesces. Mulder's neighbor says that Krychek is totally throwing Mulder under the bus, and then suddenly Mulder is drugged and taken out of his cell, strapped to a gurney head to toe in chicken wire, and it's like meshing into his flesh
Yeah.
so tight as to hold him in place, and it looks pretty horrible.
Yeah.
And he's in a room with like dozens of other dudes that are all trussed up in the same way, and they all have these little spouts over the top of their faces, and they're being observed by some Russians like up in some sort of control room, and they hit a valve or some buttons and something, and they zoom in on Mulder's face, and all of a sudden all these men around him just start screaming in terror just at the top of their lungs, like they're feeling a tremendous amount of pain. And then out of this spout above Mulder's head, he just starts getting sprayed in the face with black oil, and is starting to go inside of him, but he's not screaming because he's Mulder.
Yeah.
And he's not like a girl like all these other guys.
Yeah. For sure.
But he has clearly been infected with the black oil. And then we get to be continued.
Yeah. That last shot of just like Mulder's face as all that oil is going into his eyes and crawling underneath his skin with that sort of like chicken wire thing like pressed up against him. It it reminds me of like the trauma of when I saw the end of Fire in the Sky when
Yeah.
there's something about like there's not technically. I mean, the black oil, I guess, is an alien life form. But something about like alien type stuff just strapping you down and you being unable to do anything against whatever these aliens are going to do to your body just always creeps me out. And that felt like that, and it still sticks with me to this day. Like the look on Mulder's face as all that's happened. Creepy, creepy shit.
Shout out to Fire in the Sky though. That scene where he starts screaming and they shove that jelly in his mouth
Oh,
just to shut him up. That's
oh.
still one of the scariest things in a fucking alien movie I have ever seen.
I mean, I literally got goosebumps when you're describing that
It
movie.
was
Like
horrible.
the majority of the movie is not like scary and creepy at all, but it's like there are moments in there that are just like completely unsettling, deeply unsettling. Tunguska, part one of this two-parter. What'd you think?
Excellent. But all of these episodes As a well, no, I guess the first episode of this season wasn't too great, but the ones that weave into the overarching theme of the aliens, the black oil, the clones, Samantha, the cigarette smoking man, like they're all pretty great in my opinion, and this was just another one. And thankfully, we get to see Krycek finally getting his ass kicked like a lot in
Yeah.
this episode, a lot more than previously done, and so that was just pretty sad.
Yeah, I thought this was an awesome sort of myth arc episode. I was invested in everything that was going on throughout this episode. I love the fact, like you said, that Krychek is just getting his ass beat by everybody. It moves at a very quick pace. So, like, once you get away from that initial kind of prologue of the Senate committee hearing, whatever, all the stuff with Mulder. So now, is it believable that Mulder can just suddenly be wherever he wants in Russia and take Krychek? No, but I don't care because as long as the episode is entertaining for me and I'm invested in it, I can overlook goofy stuff like that. We are on a trajectory here of a few episodes in a row where Mulder is back to being kind of like the Mulder that we know and love, and not the I'm an asshole who doesn't care about anybody sort of Mulder. So super dig it. I like all the weird stuff with the black oil in this. I remember as a kid just being completely like enthralled by what in the hell is this stuff, like what, and that was the thing with X Files. They'd always throw something brand new into the pot. Like as soon as you thought you figured it out, like in the episode where Krychek gets stuck down in that bunker or whatever, it's like, okay, we kind of have an idea of what the black oil is. We had that good alien that was kind of explaining things a little bit, but now it's like, what the hell is this? Now the Russians are involved in this, and this is like more than just the United States at this point. Like, how sort of like, we've gotten hints that there's a global conspiracy, but we haven't really seen the global side of it, and now we're kind of getting, well, kind of the Russians are involved and stuff. So all of that was just kind of really cool to me. But yeah, part one, absolutely love this one. I thought it was fantastic.
Yep.
And now on to the fun facts. Tunguska and its follow-up Terma were conceived by the writers when they were trying to conceive a big and fun canvas to tell stories. They decided to create a story connected to the Russian gulags, which led to the natural idea that the Russians were experimenting separately from the syndicate to create a vaccine for the black oil. Series writer John Shaban felt it was natural to create an arms race like story between the United States and Russia, being that the Cold War had ended a few years earlier. The writers desired to expand the series' mythology globally, a concept that continued into the fifth season and the series' 1998 feature film adaptation. The idea of a conspiracy with a global reach was first broached in the series' second season, and it was felt that this two-part story was a good place to expand upon this, allowing the production crew to stretch the limits of their resources and imagination. The scenes featuring the SWAT raid on a terrorist cell found to be harboring Alex Krycek were filmed in a single night, requiring 60 individual film setups split between three camera crews working simultaneously. By dawn, only 4 of the 60 required shots had not been filmed, and these were later completed on a soundstage. Additional scenes shot for this episode featuring the smoking man and the well manicured man were cut due to time constraints. A scene featuring Scully briefing Skinner on the events of the episode was also cut, as it was felt it was redundant within the narrative, repeating information that had already been shown to the audience. And David Duchovny's father was present during production of this episode, leaving the actor to enjoy the shoot, although the crew described production as expensive and stubbornly trouble plagued. And then lastly, Tunguska received a nomination for a CAS award by the Cinema Audio Society for Outstanding Achievement in Sound Mixing for a television series. So there you have it, folks. There's part one of a two-parter. Now, typically speaking, the two-parter X-Files episodes are always great. I think there might have been one that we weren't super hot on, but this started out as a banger. So click that like and subscribe button, and join us next Friday as we finish out this two-parter with Terma. So say goodbye, Jeremy.
Goodbye, everybody. See you next week.